What's up, subscribers? This is PlayStation 2. What should we call this type of video? Like a let's... Never mind. Never mind.
Yeah.
Alright, yeah, so...
We're just doing like a classic console game today.
Yeah.
Normally we'd be on our PS4.
Yeah, we share a PS. Yeah, you should load that.
Yeah, so pretty much here, I'm just going to click yes and everything's going to be fine.
Yep. That's a gunshot.
Yeah, and what's this?
Yeah, one more. So that's kind of some of the capabilities the PlayStation 2 has. The X button typically selects things in a menu or even...
Well, in this case, the X button also shoots off again.
Yes.
So now you're hearing some sirens. Have no worries, you're not in trouble. It's just the game.
So this was a PlayStation 2 game. And that's not Sonic the Hedgehog. That's Shadow the Hedgehog. We got a motorcycle.
See, Sonic is really fast running. Shadow sort of uses an everyday tool, a motorcycle, to be just as fast as Sonic, I bet.
Yeah.
This obviously is a lot more action-packed than the classic Sonic game.
That's kind of the capabilities the PS2 brought. It was top of the line in its time. And some people don't like classic gaming, but I think it still holds up today.
This is one of the definite classics of gaming. It's a very well-known game. We're just doing it for maybe a bit of nostalgia. So right now you're sort of seeing an intro to the whole idea of the game.
And all of this is with CGI, probably not made in the game engine. The PlayStation 2 wouldn't be able to render things this quickly.
Although it is a very good machine.
Yes, it is a very good machine. But even today, the PlayStation 4 has its limits as well.
No,
well, not really though.
No, but I mean, other machines can't make like CGI either. You drive an everyday hybrid.
Yeah, that's true. So this is kind of an homage to other PlayStation games. We can see a bit of rocks. A lot of games have rocks.
There's Sonic. He's feeling weak because, well, he's not the star of this game.
No, his gloves are filthy, and I think that's kind of emblematic of the whole dichotomy here.
Now you're seeing the title. We've already said it 100 times. A little bit of tribal going on in the title there.
Yeah. Alright, so we're going to play a little multiplayer, get us both involved. That's something kind of interesting. The PlayStation 2 has 2 controller ports. And that's just sort of what it was able to do.
So right now I'm going to hit the start button. Another gunshot going.
I'm just going to plug in a second controller, just into the second controller slot.
So where the one controller is plugged in, beside that is an identical slot where you can put a second controller in and you can play multiplayer games with your best friend.
Yes, and some games, there's USB ports next to that, and some games you could even play up to 4 or 8 players, like trivia games, that sort of thing.
And that's probably a core group of friends. Maybe even some you're just meeting, but usually when you're playing this sort of game, you're doing a core friend group.
Yeah, you kind of only play games with people you really know well.
Yeah, so I'm going to click the 2-player game, and we're just going to kind of go ahead and...
Okay, here we go. This will bring us into the character selection menu.
So obviously, I'm player 1. I'm going to go with Shadow, star of the show. But I'm going to let my friend here pick a just as cool character because in this game there are many cool characters. So I'm going to go ahead and pick Shadow. Here I go.
Let me show you what ultimate power is.
Okay, and I'm going to pick... I could pick Orange Shadow, but these kind of... That gun looks like it has some decent shooting capabilities, and...
As we've heard, this game has a lot of good gunshot sounds.
Yes.
So why not accompany that with a good gun?
That's right.
That's easy.
So I'm going to hit X, which will select this character. And I believe at this point we'll move on to map selection.
Now, when we picked our characters, you heard them say probably some key phrases from the game. As a beginner player, you're not really going to know the context of those, so I suggest playing the story before doing this. But James and I have played the story so many times. So we're just going to go right ahead and play some multiplayer. So we're going to go 3-game match and see how that goes. I'm going to click select. I'm sure you can expect another gun sound. Here we go.
Alright, so now we just have to wait for it to load, pre-rendering all the textures, the assets, things like that.
Yeah, so totally normal. Long wait means a big payoff, so
That's right. We selected a 3-game match. By my count, it should take about 3 times as long to load.
yeah. Well, it has to load 3 games.
Yeah. Alright, this is okay. Sometimes with old machines, you have to do just a hard reset, dust in the disk reader, something like that. No problem. I'll just restart it right here.
And no problems there. We get to hear the classic. Wah. And that's always a good time. I mean, you can't complain about nostalgia, I'll tell you that much.
What a lot of people don't know is Sony didn't just make the PlayStation, they also make like TVs and headphones and stuff.
That's true. And Spider-Man movies.
Yeah,
The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and The Amazing Spider-Man 2 starring
Andrew Garfield, yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is usually a good sign. It's just loading everything.
Mm-hmm. It means everything's going to run smoothly when it takes a bit longer. It means you're not going to have any glitches during the game because you're putting the time in now.
They're doing it ahead of time, figuring everything out.
See, I'd wait hours if I knew I was going to get a good game.
Yeah.
I'm sure you would too, James.
Yeah, I would. Alright, it seems to have frozen up on us. I'm just going to give that another hard reset right now.
And that's totally normal. That's fine, so...
We get the...
sit back, relax.
And Sony didn't actually just make the PlayStation. A lot of people don't know that. They make TVs and headphones and sort of a lot of consumer electronics.
Movies, too. Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, the Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. Starring... I don't remember. Who was it?
Never mind.
Okay. So now we're just waiting for the game to load.
I suggest during this, and I suggest this during every game night, have some snacks, have some drinks.
Yes.
Now, most gamers... Oh, here we go. We have a loading screen.
Go. See, that...
And that was actually a good black screen wait time as well.
Yeah, so we know that it's all going to be okay. We're just going to hit X, load that up. My controller's already plugged in, second player, so we won't even have to wait.
Just rewind back to the first try, and you'll know exactly how to put your second controller in and have a good time with your one friend. And you'll hear about possibilities of gaming with 6 to 8.
Alright, so this time, I'm going to watch the intro for about 25 seconds, and then we'll just skip.
Yeah, so we're just going to sit back and watch, and I hope you do too. Alright, so that was a good, if you really want to see the whole thing, of course, rewind. We're going to upload the whole thing so you get every sort of bit of experience that may come across in a PS2.
Alright, so we're going to go to 2-player game. I already have my controller plugged in right next to Noah's.
And once again, star of the show, Mr. Shadow the Hedgehog. I'll be picking him.
Let me show you what ultimate power is.
And I'm going to go for my friend with the large gun again, and orange shoes and top of head.
Very well. Let's do this.
Alright, and once again we're going to click the 3-game match in a way that's totally normal because it's loading 3 games, so let's do it.
The little emblem down there indicates that the game is loading.
That's Shadow's logo, if you're unfamiliar. If you see that anywhere around, you know someone's a Shadow the Hedgehog fan, which is actually a cool way to leave your mark of the things you like. I've drawn that on school desks, some other things too.
Yeah, if any of our subscribers know how to turn a picture into a sticker or something, that'd be really cool, because there's actually a lot of things I think it would look good on that kind of stark red logo.
Yeah, like what?
Well, actually, Sony doesn't just make the PlayStation 2. They make headphones and TVs and stuff. You can put the stickers on that, other consumer electronics.
Or you could put a sticker on, maybe, they make movies, so you could promote the movie with putting stickers around town, or you would need a price sticker for the movie when selling it. And they make 2 movies that I know of, The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
And Andrew Garfield, of course, he shined in that movie.
Yeah, nobody would ever forget that he was in that, and that's what I love about it. It's a memorable role.
It is a really memorable role.
We're having a loading screen. We're going to sit back, and this is a good time to maybe talk about what you like about the game, or talk about other things. I mean, you're friends, so you have a lot to talk about. So we'll just get started by talking about some stuff.
All right, so over Amazing Man. Oh man, can you believe that? This is kind of a behind the scenes thing. Sometimes I might even leave that in. I think that'd be funny for the audience to kind of get a peek behind the ones and zeros. You know what I mean? Anyways, take 2. All right, so Amazing Man. Oh man, this is maybe a peek too far. We'll decide later in editing. Editing is the process of cutting together filmed or recorded segments in a way that gives it a through line, a continuity.
For example, the intro to Shadow the Hedgehog has some editing in it. Not too much because it's a story, and you can't edit a story. But in a video, you can edit a video, but not a story. You can't edit a story.
Yeah, so I think we should leave that in. I think that was pretty interesting. But anyways, which do you prefer more? Amazing Spider-Man 1 or the sequel to the movie, which is Amazing Spider-Man 2?
I love that actor. I can't put my finger on the name.
Yeah, he was in...
But the guy who does Spider-Man, he does it so well. For an older man, too, like an older gentleman.
Yeah.
But I couldn't name him if I tried.
You know when you know his character... Like, he's Eduardo from Social Network.
Yeah, the Facebook movie. And Facebook, you should be able to remember that. It's the biggest site. But here I am. Gun to my head, I couldn't name the man.
Speaking of guns, maybe we should give this a hard reset. Let the game reload all the guns again. There's a lot of guns in the game. It's understandable that a game like this would freeze.
Yeah. Okay.
All right,
let's give
so
another reset.
Hit the
and
power
that's
button.
the green light button.
If you press and hold it, that'll turn your PlayStation 2 off. But if you just give it a tap like this, you can.
And maybe this time we could actually do a disc clean.
Yeah. Okay.
So I suggest a full turn off for a disc clean.
So I'm gonna hold down the power button, and then I'm gonna hit the eject button, which is on the other side of the disc tray. I'm gonna open it up, pop out the game. And yeah, I'm seeing a little smudge right here.
That's probably the guns. It's probably not.
Yeah, that kind of looks like the gun section of the game. So I'm just gonna the vapor from my mouth, and I'm just gonna use my shirt. If it gets really down to it, I personally wear glasses. Glasses cleaner and a microfiber cloth is actually really good for all sorts of consumer electronics, TVs, headphones, games as well. So,
and if you're wearing glasses, you could watch, I don't know, a movie. Sony actually makes 2 movies called The Amazing Spider-Man 1
and The Amazing Spider-Man 2, starring
Andrew Garfield. Everyone knows that.
It's kind of interesting. My vision isn't too bad. It's definitely improved with glasses, so that's kind of an interesting way. I see the world differently than Noah. He doesn't wear glasses.
Well, the thing about Peter Parker in The Amazing Spider-Man,
yeah.
he had glasses before the spider bite. And the actor who plays Peter Parker actually doesn't wear glasses in real life.
Emma Stone's boyfriend.
What's his name? She's in the movie too. So if you watch the movie, you're gonna see the guy who plays Spider-Man. He's in the movie.
It's a lot of real chemistry. Anyways, I'm gonna insert the disc back in. I'm gonna press that down. You can't just rest it, or else it won't.
So you're gonna hear the sound when it goes in.
Just a click right there. All right. So now I'm gonna close the disc tray, and I'm gonna tap the power button, which will restart the PlayStation.
The green light will come on, and you're gonna hear
the. It says Sony Computer Entertainment there, but they kind of dealt outside of just the computer field. They make headphones, TVs, a lot of consumer electronics.
They make movies too. They should almost cut out the middleman and say Sony Entertainment presents.
Yes, all their.
Well, I was gonna say presents The Amazing Spider-Man 1
and 2. Andrew Garfield.
Andrew Garfield, can't forget him.
Yeah.
Timeless role.
Timeless role. All right, so we're back in to the sort of the prologue of the game. We're just gonna hit X right there, X 3 times.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna put the controller up to the mic so you can hear the sound the X would make when you're pressing it.
Presented by Sega. Sega's a company. Sega didn't just make games; they made headphones. TV.
That actually said Sonic Team. The funny thing about that is we're playing a Shadow game.
Yeah, I personally don't know, but I would imagine making this game sort of tore the developers up inside. This sort of works against the mantra, the credos of everything they've worked so hard.
Well, Shadow kind of gives a whole realm to the people who have a dark side and are wanting to express it. So when you are so used to a Shadow kind of character, maybe a Tails, maybe you're a Tails, but either way, they're both such bright, happy characters. sometimes you have to let the aggression out, and that's what Shadow allows us to do. So we take a break from the Sonic games here and there, and we play Shadow the Hedgehog. So
somewhat the proverbial shadow of the titular Sonic
I
himself.
didn't think of it like that. Actually, there's another person who sort of has a shadow. Venom
Yes, he's
is
the shadow
sort
of
of the shadow
Spider-Man
Spider-Man, and he is quite amazing.
in the films.
The Amazing
This is
Spider-Man 1 and 2. And not only is Spider-Man amazing, but Andrew Garfield,
Andrew Garfield, he's really...
quite amazing.
Dennis Leary, also just in Amazing Spider-Man 1, briefly throughout the second as well. They might have recorded that earlier, but for a Boston comedian, you wouldn't know it. The role is so serious, it takes on such a...
And the thing about bringing him back in the second one is they can do that in any movie now, and not to mention other, I don't know, companies, but Star Wars, made by Disney, they brought back Carrie Fisher after her death. And they were able to do that sort of like they're able to bring, I don't know, a hedgehog to life with a dark side.
Yes. That is kind of interesting. Carrie Fisher was always sort of the shadow of the Star Wars franchise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say that with the drug addiction and alcoholism, I'd say Shadow the Hedgehog is sort of the heroin head of the Sega community. So I'm just going to give it a start here, and we're going to see how it goes. Now, once again,
two-player game.
Two-player game. The controllers are plugged in. We've gone through this. Me and my friend James are going to pick two-player now. And, of course, don't have to say it again.
Let me show you what ultimate power is.
And computers do sometimes take longer to load orange, as it's a combination of two primary colors, so maybe I will stick with a nice primary blue, sort of have the computer loading time. Still same great character, same sort of chrome specular finish on the texture there. So I'm going to hit X and select this character, different from the one I've selected before, but not so different that...
They're also related to the pink and green ones there, if you wanted to show them.
Yes, I'm actually just going to scroll through all of these real quickly. So this is Shadow. This is...
we know Shadow.
of course, star of the game. Much like how an example of the star of something else is the star of the Amazing Spider-Man movies. I can't think of that name, but if you really... That movie's more of an ensemble piece anyway. It's
well,
sort
Spider-Man is sort of an idea. I mean, you have so many characters. How could you name a movie after one character? So Spider-Man sort of creates a whole span of people.
New York as a backdrop in that movie is sort of a character in itself.
I'd say New York's the star of the show. Sort of like Shadow.
Star of this game. So I am going to select this blue character. I don't want to overbear the PlayStation 2 with too much texture detail, so I'm just going to hit X and select that.
Well, let's do this.
We're going to go for a 3-game match.
Of course. We want a lot of time together.
Now the game just seems to be loading,
You
a little
might look
jerkiness.
like me, but I know you're just a fake.
There we go. So we can see,
Let's see
tried
which
and
one
true,
is the fake one.
choosing the less complicated in color. That paid off in the end. So now I'm just going to hit X a bunch of times. All right. So that is our 19-minute and 48-second mark. So we're just going to pause for today. Check back every hour for a new video. We upload every hour. All right, signing off. We'll make the PlayStation noise.